I am now a working stiff. I work all week at a 9-to-5 job, which I found really cuts into my writing time. Very unfortunate and very inconvenient. So here I am, out on of all days, a Saturday. Because I am a working stiff with a job Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. And I'm still getting used to the whole thing. I'm getting used to being responsible and accountable. And pretending as if I know what I'm talking about. And also, even making noises when I don't know what I'm talking about. As in, I am new here, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And it kind of reminds me of, there's this guy, Peter Hessler, who wrote the trilogy about living and working in China. He talks about, in the beginning of his book, of his trilogy, he talks about going jogging. And he has this round that he does. It's like it's a city that's built on the side of a hill. And he goes up one side of the hill and goes down the other, and he kind of, that's how he does the same round every day. And he looks at the same things every day, including the same signs. And he talks about how as the days progress and he learns more and more Chinese, he's able to suss out more and more of the signs as he's running past them. So what started out as just mostly incomprehensible gobbledygook to him started showing up and started making sense in these little tiny bits and pieces. And as he reads them, the meanings sort of change over time as he learns to read more and more of the signs of each individual sign. He sort of gets a deeper meaning about it, but it might be sort of, it might not make sense until the whole thing is revealed, right? But he's getting bits and pieces of it, and he's sort of forming this sort of internal system of how the language works, right, as you're learning it. And that's kind of like starting a new job, because there are bits and pieces of it you recognize, that people are generally speaking English and are often saying things that sound like English. They might be using acronyms and terms and words that are internal, or jargon that's specific to the industry they're in. So you might learn bits and pieces of it, or you might figure out bits and pieces of it. But one of the things that I'm having trouble with is figuring out how things fit together. I have this sort of bits and pieces idea, but I'm having trouble sussing who's responsible for what, and where their responsibilities end, and how I talk to them, and who they, like all that's sort of internal structure stuff. And that's been interesting, because I'm kind of flying blind in a lot of ways. And I'm working on assumptions that may or may not be correct, and probably won't make sense until I learn more about how the system works. But in the meantime, I feel kind of stupid and useless. which is always a good way to feel when you're starting a new job. Stupid and useless.